Welcome to Love and Murder. I'm your host, Ky. I'll be joined by the amazing Char. Tonight is the insane ending of the Knoxville Trio two-parter. It's a teacher, a loving husband, and an innocent bystander. It's time for the conclusion right now on Love and Murder. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Love and Murder. And I want to thank that listener out there who told me to continue saying my good evenings. Thank you.
Oh. Okay.
Love and Murder, the weekly true crime podcast discussing relationships gone terribly wrong. And Char, my lovely Char, when I say terribly wrong, how wrong do I mean?
She means dead wrong, but I thought we're supposed to have canned music at that moment, like a rumble or something. Or dum dum dum. What happened to that?
I never said I was going to do that.
Well, see, the thing is, I recommended it.
Yeah.
I recommended it, but I didn't hear the okay. All right.
Nah. Just listeners, just imagine you hear that. Dun, dun, dun. I'm not doing it.
They're pretty good at imagining if they stuck with us this long, so, okay.
Well, I am your host, Ky, and you already heard my co-host, the lovely, the big-breasted, as I said last week.
She didn't mention I have a big real butt.
Oh, yeah,
too.
and
anyway.
I have to do my sound effects. The big bootied, Char.
The smackalax, Char.
Am I the only one when I, like my friend, not just some random girl, but if you're my friend and you have a big butt, I smack it every time I see you. I have to. There's no way. Oh, my God. I have to.
Well, I actually used to do that to my big butt friends too. Even at my flatter butt friends, I just used to smack their butt.
No, only
so
my big butt
I didn't
friends.
know that you did
I guess
that.
I'm prejudiced.
Oh, okay.
My cousin, oh my God, my cousin's butt is so big. I hit it one time and her butt fought back against my hand. Oh, it hurt so much.
That's really funny, but how do you know it wasn't sucked out from some other part of the body? You think it was real? Because these days, you have to ask.
I've known my cousin her whole life. She's literally my cousin. No.
Okay, gotcha.
That's hers. Unless they gave her a butt implant when she was like 3. Good Lord.
That's pretty funny, Ky.
No, all my big butt cousins, that's their butt.
Oh my God, you're so funny. So what do we have to talk about today? I'm so excited because I have an idea. Like maybe this is going to be our part 2.
Hold on. I'm not done with the intro yet.
Okay.
So, thank you. Our show, Love and Murder, discusses true crime cases told in the form of a story with mystery, suspense, and just a little bit of humor sprinkled on top. So if you are one of the people who like to put S's on your chest because you don't like humor and true crime, then this is not the place for you. Please shut it off and just go about your business. I'm just letting you know.
Thank you.
I'm just letting you know. I don't want to hear you complaining later on because I told you now. Anyways, check out our podcast on Apple Podcasts, on Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on social media. The links will be in the show notes below. But I will say that at the end of the show, if you just want to hear my gorgeous voice letting you know our links. If you want to be a part of our LNM exclusive community, then join us on our Patreon at patreon.com/Love and Murder. When you join, what do you get? You get commercial-free episodes of Love and Murder. You also get bonus episodes like every 2 weeks. You get crazier crimes than we give you. You get Florida crimes. You get behind the scene. You just hear Char and I acting crazier than we do on the air. And you just get so much more.
And Char's crazy stories, speaking of the word crazy.
God.
We have a few in our
You can head over there right now. There are some free shows there and you'll see it. And Char, for all of this, how much is it a month?
The cost of a cup of coffee, not at Starbucks, I think that's $10. But it's only $3 a month. That's it.
That's
a cup of coffee.
Yep. So
that's all it'll set you
head
back.
on over to patreon.com/Love and Murder and join us over there in our exclusive community. It's exclusive because not everybody gets into the gate, you know? So if you've listened to our show
Secret
before
club.
or even at the end of this episode and you like it, please head on over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and give us 5 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Say whatever you want in the description, but what it does, it helps other people find us. It helps our podcasts come up in the list so people can find us, and we will be so grateful to you. And the easiest way for you to be able to rate us is just to go over to our website, www.murderandlove.com, and in the menu you'll see it saying rate us. Just choose rate us in that menu and you can go rate us. So on to business. Were y'all able to listen to last week's episode? Because if not, I'm telling you right now,
you missed a lot.
Well, no,
you guys.
but to get the full
God.
effect of tonight's episode,
Yeah.
you have to listen to episode 43. 43 and 44 go hand in hand with each other. So the entire case is the Knoxville trio. So last week we discussed Aaron McLean's side of the story, and today is going to be Eric McLean's side of the story and the conclusion to the case. So trust me. If you have not listened to episode 43, then stop this one right
back.
now. Go and listen to 43 and then come back to this one. And then with this one, listen to the end, because I'm telling you, you are going to be shocked at the outcome.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Get your popcorn.
Look, definitely.
Brace yourselves.
Definitely. Wait till the kids are in bed, or wait till you're out on your morning run or something where nobody's going to interrupt you, and brace yourself for this episode. Also, before we start, we're just reminding you again to listen to episode 42, which is the January Missing Persons. The February Missing Persons episode is coming up at the end of this month, and I'm going to try and have the January updates in that episode if there are any updates. And I'll also list the current missing persons, like February missing persons. In the meantime, please go listen to episode 42 and share. Go to our website, www.murderandlove.com. That's love and murder backwards, murderandlove.com, to get the images of those missing and share that page as well. Actually, I'm going to put the link to the case files on our website in the show links below. So if you look below this episode that you're listening to, there's going to be a link to the missing persons case files, and you can just easily click on that. Remember, we're trying to help these people get home. So imagine if it was your loved ones. How hard would you be trying to get them home? So
the heartache is lifted when there's just that one success story. Even if it's once a week, it's like, oh my God, they're still alive. It changes everything about your perspective about life, and just spending the time with loved ones while you can, because you have another chance. So, but not everyone gets that lucky or that blessed. So you guys have to really tune in, and because you never know, if you know of anyone missing, definitely you want to hear the show.
Yeah, and let's try, just as hard as you would work if it was your loved one missing, let's try and work as hard to help bring these missing children home. So that's what I have for that. Now, on to the show. It's hard to do like that transition. You're talking about missing children and stuff, missing people, and then you have to transition to the show. That's like a hard transition.
Yeah, it's pretty gloomy, but sometimes there is a happy ending, silver lining. Sometimes there is. So that's the good thing.
Yeah. So with Eric McLean and Aaron McLean, last week we already talked about their beginning lives and everything. This is why it's important to listen to last week's episode. And this week we're going to pick up with Eric's side of the story. Now, some of the story is going to be kind of choppy because of how the facts came in, but you're still going to get the whole story. Oh, also, y'all have to forgive me. I might start sounding weird during telling this case because I have a huge, what do you call it again, Char?
A canker.
Yeah, I have
sore.
a canker sore in my cheek because I bit my cheek. And then apparently while I was sleeping, I continued biting it. And then one of the teeth marks turned into a canker sore, and it decides to leave a huge hole in my cheek. So that's what I'm contending with.
A huge hole?
I have a hole in my freaking cheek, man. So.
Oh my God! Well, you know that it heals itself, though.
I know, but it still hurts while I'm waiting for it to heal.
Well, don't eat hot sauce. Anything with hot sauce.
Duh. But anyways, since it's like on my cheek and sometimes it rubs that tooth that bit it, you're going to probably hear me talking with clenched teeth. So I'm just telling y'all this up front before you're all like, what's Ky doing? So Just
Yeah.
bear with me here because I still wanted to record y'all's episode. I didn't think y'all wanted to wait another week to find out what happened. So I took some
I'm pretty
Tylenol.
sure the listeners don't want to wait, but you guys do support us and you understand we're human and have these things happen. So we appreciate your, just hanging in there with us. We're not always perfect.
All right. So we're picking up here, which we already said this little part here in Aaron's story, but this is where we're picking up for Eric's story. So on March 10th, 2006, right before 9 p.m., Eric made a 911 call. Someone was at his home and he needed officers to come and help remove him. After a while, though, Eric said the intruder left on his own and no further assistance was needed. 7 minutes later, another 911 call came in, but this time someone had been shot. Police were dispatched, and when they arrived, the intruder was found dead. Aaron met with officers, but Eric was nowhere to be found. Let's figure out what happened here. This is Eric's story. During 11 years of marriage, Eric worked multiple jobs to support his family and allow his wife to go to school. He had put off going to college and following his dream, which was to become a high school band director, to allow Erin to do this first. She wanted to do her dream. He allowed her to go to college and do it first. During the beginning of the marriage, Eric and Erin split the family duties and, put the kids first. And so it was the kids, Erin's schooling, Eric was working to support the family. And finally, when Erin graduated, she got a job and Eric started on his goal of becoming a band director. However, after a short time, Erin quit her job and decided to go back to school. And as we found out in Erin's story, she quit her job just because she didn't like it and decided to go back to school. Now, Eric wasn't happy with this, but, if it's going to keep Erin happy and on the goal to achieving her dream, then he would deal with it. In the last 5 years of their marriage, though, Eric found himself raising the kids primarily alone, working and going to school. According to Eric, and I want to say this whole thing is according to Eric. It is not in my words. I'm not assuming anything. This is all pieced together through interviews with Eric and the trial notes with Eric and everything like that. So none of this is my words. Okay. Now, according to Eric, Erin seemed to be making less and less time for the children, and she was less interested in what they were doing. Eric became both mother and father to their 2 boys. He took them to school before he went to work. He helped them with their homework. When he got home from work, he cooked for them, took them to their activities, put them to bed. Basically everything while he was at school.
It's like Mr. Mom.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Basically while he was at school and working
impressive.
at the same time. Yeah, that was very impressive. But
it's a lot to
the
do.
thing is, they do have a mother, so what's going on with that? So even though this was a lot of work, he didn't complain because he just, he saw how busy his wife was with her school and her internship. So he just was like, okay, one day she's going to finish with school and she'll be able to help more. And I'm just going to take this on the chin for now because, we still have to raise our kids and everything like that. So basically, he was just trying to be a good husband and a good father. Now, after Erin started her internship, things started to change. She spoke excessively about this one particular young man who had been given up for adoption when he was 6, but later he reunited with his birth mother. One day, as she was talking to him about her other students, this adopted student's name came up. It was Sean Powell. She started having phone conversations with this student, telling Eric that, it was for school purposes and this kid really needed her help and but the conversations were like, why are you talking to this student so much? Are there no other teachers? Is there no principal? Does he not have parents? Like, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. Because that would be my question. Like, why are you talking to him so much?
Definitely.
You're literally only an intern. So why is he not having this level of attention from actual teachers? Sometime later, Erin came to Eric and decided to kind of approach the idea of having an open marriage to him, which really wasn't something he wanted. And as we know, he wrote an email and asked for advice on this. And if you listen to the other episode, I actually read that email, and I'm not going to read it here. So you got to go back and listen to the other episode, Aaron's story. So he actually wrote an email asking for advice, and advice was given. If you want to find out that advice, listen to the other episode. And, he noticed that as time went on, she was constantly on the phone with this young man. Then neighbors, good old neighbors.
Always the neighbor.
Neighbors started telling him about a Mercedes that had been in his driveway when he's not home. And once they saw the kids were locked outside the house while it was cold, and Aaron was inside the house with some mystery man. It wasn't Eric. They knew it wasn't Eric because, that's his neighbors. It was just some guy. They didn't know who it was. The kids were outside, probably banging on the door or whatever they were doing. And Aaron was inside with this other dude. So, I don't know. If I heard that, I don't even know what I would do. I don't even know what I would do.
It's a war in someone's home. That just isn't going to go down very well in most homes.
It's number one, you had my kids outside, just in the cold. That's just number one. And then I guess the more I think about it, like, not only did you have my kids outside in the cold, you had on my end, it would be some woman in my house disrespecting my house while my kids were outside in the cold. It wouldn't.
I mean, there's no logic anywhere for any angle of the story. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, allegedly, one day towards the end of January or the beginning of February, so around that time, Eric's oldest son came and told him that mom had pushed him into a closet because he saw something he wasn't supposed to see. So it's not like she pushed him and then locked him. She pushed him and he fell into the closet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so she was basically like intimidating him. So she pushed him because he saw this thing and she didn't want him to tell anyone. So that was the intimidation aspect. Also, she had taken them to a liquor store to meet some man there. So, by the way, when she took them to the liquor store, this was actually like they were supposed to be in bed already for school the next day. So it wasn't.
So she drags them out late when they should be asleep to go on this little liquor store adventure.
Yeah, so.
And why are my kids going around a liquor store and why are they out late in that environment? That's great. It's like she was just losing it all the way around. Like, what happened?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's
this
not like
woman.
It was even like an afternoon thing. It was like night.
Yeah.
And, they're little, so it was like after 8, 9 o'clock.
Oh my God.
So
kids were taking a field trip to the liquor store.
Store.
Don't ask any questions.
Yeah. This guy's your uncle. You've never met him before, but he is your uncle. Trust me on this.
Right. Uncle John. It's always Uncle John.
So the son also told Eric that mom had been taking them to the playground and some guy was always coming along, but they were always holding hands, which was weird because that's not their dad.
Because it wasn't daddy.
Exactly. So,
oh man.
Later on, when Erin found out that her son had told Eric about this, she ended up scratching her son out of anger. Scratching?
I mean, I don't know. She's not a cat. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. But anyway.
Here's your punishment. I'm going to scratch you.
Yeah, she scratched him because she was mad that he told Eric.
Yeah.
But you would just scratch.
Her secrets are out. Mommy, I know your secrets.
I don't like stuff like this. Like, parents are cheating on each other and then they're teaching their children how to lie and hide stuff from the other parent. Like, I'll give you $10 if you don't tell your mom. Like, what kind of message are you teaching your children? You can't keep yourself together long enough to teach your children good manners. Like, seriously? Like, sex is really that much to you? I can't fathom that. I don't know.
And have you ever heard of a babysitter? Like, if you know you're just going to do the bound chicka wow around your kids or even be that close to someone else, why do they have to see that, witness that, and then they get punished for the fact that they did see it? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, it's not their fault you're a cheater. Like, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's literally not their fault.
Anyways, The news of this infidelity really, really affected Eric. And towards the end of February, he stole a gun from one of his family members. And his reasoning for doing this was that basically he was going to put himself out of his misery.
Oh.
But as he was thinking about ending it all, he also thought about leaving his children and realized that he couldn't do that to them. And so he didn't go through with it. Then he kind of tried to incorporate Aaron's student Sean into some of their family outings. Basically at her insistence. She would hound him and hey, can he come? Can he, Dad? Can he come?
Can my boyfriend come, please?
I know. I mean, I guess she figured out he knew by now, so why not? What difference does it make?
Well, you know what? But see, this is in the same fashion as a lot of our other crazy stories where it's like, okay, listen, I'm gonna have this little side piece. So guess what? I'm just gonna move them in with the family, and they're gonna have dinner with us on Tuesday and Thursday nights, and
you're gonna be okay with it.
We're gonna go on outings together. Yeah, we're gonna do staycations together. Like this is what these people go to these deepest levels with our stories. They really do this. So listeners, don't think we're making up anything ever.
No.
Because even Ky and I are not that creative, and we're writers by trade. We can't even think this stuff up. Like, this is what really happens.
Look, if y'all are new to Love and Murder, I'm telling you, just listen to our previous episodes and you'll definitely know that we're not making this up. So anyway, he came with them on their family outings or some of their family outings. But while they're out, her and Sean didn't even try to hide that they were in a relationship. Yeah. So in front of her husband and the kids, Sean was flirting with her, and then they would even leave and go home together.
Well, maybe he thought the husband was okay with an open relationship, though. So you have to, in his defense, we don't know what she said to him. We don't know what she told him about her marriage.
Well,
because that's not uncommon these days. We had a couple stories like that too. So you just never know what's really being said.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true. And if everyone listened to last week's episode, you'll know that she was saying that he said he was okay with it. So.
Oh, I forgot that.
How? Okay. You're the host. You're so. Oh my God.
Well, no, but I did because there were so many twists and turns in the story. I'm sorry, I can't keep up.
Plug your ears while mommy talk, because I don't want you to know that host Char forgot her own freaking case from last week while we're telling y'all to remember the case. Good Lord.
It was only one tidbit, but it's just there's so many, these people. Yeah, so carry on. It's not an easy job, guys, just so you know.
So one day, Eric gets home to find Aaron and Sean having sex. Now, instead of being apologetic or, even embarrassed, as most people would be, Sean basically starts making fun of Eric by telling him, your children are going to be calling me daddy pretty soon. Dude, I'm telling you, I know we're supposed to be pacifists and stuff. I will punch somebody in the face.
I know. Oh, no. My inner anger.
There would be no way I would be able to stay calm.
Angry me is coming out. Yes.
It would be no way. When it comes to my child, no, it'd be no way. So anyway, he said, they're going to be calling him daddy pretty soon or whatever. And instead of beating his face in, Eric decides to take the high road and he leaves. Now, if you remember in Erin's story, she said that Eric tried to initiate a threesome, but then Sean said no and proceeded to continue having sex with Erin. And Eric was just like, well, okay then, and walked to the living room or whatever. So...
You know what? I do remember that. I remember that part, definitely. That would, but see, this was what makes this episode tonight just so interesting, because of these two entirely different stories.
Yeah.
And imagine what the cops have to go through when they're being interrogated. Oh yeah, but he said this, but she said that. You have to really listen and imagine who's lying here, because someone's not telling the truth.
I think if you listen to two stories, both of the stories, somewhere in there you get the truth.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah, exactly. There's his side, her side, and then there's the truth.
So on her side, he initiated a threesome. On his side, he had just come home and they were having sex. So We know the truth is she was having sex with an 18-year-old. That's the truth there. Now, however, whatever else happened around that, it's he said, she said. So, my question is, why didn't Eric just leave? Because in my opinion, that's kind of a lot to take on. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, you're supporting your entire family. You put your dreams on hold so your wife can follow her dreams. She follows her dreams and then starts sleeping with not even a man.
Well, maybe that was her dream, actually. We don't really know where
Well,
that ended.
according to them, her dream was to be a teacher.
Yeah, so she says, but the motives are not matching up.
So,
That's so selfish.
not only does she cheat on him, it's not even a dude, it's a student. And then she brings this in his face constantly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's kind of a lot to deal with.
It's a low blow.
Yeah. Well,
why don't you just leave the marriage is what you're saying. Why stick around? I mean, you're taking care of the kids anyway. You're bringing home the bacon, probably paying the bills while she, for all we know, well, we can't make up things in these stories, but we don't know if she was being frivolous with the money that she did have, opposed to him being really the breadwinner because she was in school. She wasn't working during this time. I think because she didn't like her job. So
yeah, she quit her job and she's in school and doing an internship while he's in school taking care of the kids and working.
So my thing is, what do I need you for, though?
Well,
even as a wife.
Somebody actually asked him this question, like, why didn't you just leave her? And he actually gave a quote. Quote, I couldn't leave her because I love her. He just loved her. So that's why he didn't leave.
There's that word again. There's
Love
that
makes
word,
people
that
do
L
crazy
word.
things, man.
Yeah, it sure does, if that's what they think they're in.
Yeah.
Opposed to just dysfunction, they call it love.
So, now we fast forward to the day of March 10th, 2005. On that day, for some reason, Sean had been like sitting outside of their house for a couple days. He had just been in his car, sitting outside of the house. Now, if you remember in our previous episode, again, you need to listen to that. He didn't have a place to stay. Remember, he was homeless for a little
kicked
while.
Out of every place he's at. He's kicked out.
And so he really didn't have a place to stay. So I guess they had given him a place. I'm not going to go into it. They had given him a place for a little while, and I guess instead of staying there, he's just sitting in his car outside their house. Which I don't know. That's
super weird. I don't know.
So on this particular day, Eric had come home and him and Aaron were supposed to go on a prearranged date. So he comes home and Sean is there. And he's just like, what the, as Char says, what the?
What the?
And he's like, he tells Sean to leave. And Sean, as any 18-year-old boy, just ignored him, So then that's the first 911 call that went out. He called 911 and he says he calls 911 to try and convince Sean to leave. So he said, quote, trying to bluff a young man. Well, I have to do my voice. Hold on. Quote, trying to bluff a young man who won't listen to two adults into leaving. So the 911 call goes, hello. Well, I still need to put on a voice, huh? Okay.
Here it goes.
911, what's your emergency? Hello, I have an intruder in the house. Where are you? 2424 Coker Avenue. And you have an intruder in your house? What do you mean by intruder? Trespasser? But then later on, after a while, he told them, okay, it was fine. He said basically the intruder left on his own volition, and so they hung up. So what happened in that time is basically Sean was like, all right, you're calling 911. I get it. You want me to leave. He didn't want any trouble with the cops. He didn't want to get arrested. So he's like, all right, I'm leaving. But on his way out, they were exchanging words. Sean was probably like, oh, you're such an beep, beep, beep. And Eric was like, whatever, just leave or whatever. So they exchanged words and then Sean ended up leaving. But instead of actually leaving the property, he just went back to his car and sat there smoking a cigarette and waiting for Aaron. So a few minutes later, Eric walked out the house, went to his truck, and when he went to his truck, that's when he got the hunting rifle. Remember, he got that rifle from a family member, which he didn't want to name. In most instances, I heard he didn't want to name who it was, and in one single instance, it said who he got the rifle from. So because everything else said he didn't want to name it, I'm going to go with not naming who he got it from. So he got the rifle, and then he went to Sean's car, and, he tried to scare him or whatever. So what he says is he went to the car, and he said, quote, "The gun was a bluff too. It just didn't work out right." So basically that was his quote on why he even had the gun in the first place. So after that, that's when the second 911 call came. So 911, what's your emergency? My husband just killed someone. What's the address, ma'am? 2424 Coker. Is he there with you right now? No, but the body's here. How did he do it? He shot him with a shotgun. Please come. Hurry. Stay on the line, please. Don't hang up. Oh, my God. So when the gun went off and Eric realized what happened, he basically freaked out and left. And Eric drove, he jumped in his truck and he drove near West High School. And then he left his truck there. And the next day, police found him walking along the railroad tracks, how many miles away from his house. So, of course, they arrested him and charged him with first-degree murder. And first-degree murder in Tennessee carries a mandatory minimum sentence of 51 years in prison. Now, once news of all this came out, basically that Erin was having an affair with a student, she was fired from her internship.
No.
I mean, come on. You didn't think that was going to happen? Oh, you're being sarcastic. Okay, never mind.
Exactly. I was wondering when you'd catch on.
So during the investigation, a suicide note from Eric, which had been written months ago, was found. So it does look like he had been thinking about suicide.
Had attempted or thought it, yeah.
And then autopsy and toxicology records showed that at the time of his death, Sean had cocaine in his system and a blood alcohol level of 0.13%. What's the legal blood alcohol level again?
I thought it was, didn't we go over this before?
Yes, we did, and I don't remember it.
I want to say it was that, because it's a little more than 1.1. I think it might be 1.3. But I know, but obviously he might be right there.
We're searching while we're on the air, right? As we always do.
Yeah, that's what we do, guys. Well, the last time I figured out, because I kind of know, these things.
Alcoholic.
For reasons we won't say.
Sorry, I had something in my throat. Alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
I think I should drink some water. Anyways, the legal blood alcohol level is 0.08%. 0.08%.
Oh, 0.0, so it's not even
no, 0.08%. And
so he's at
0.13%.
So it's almost 1.5 over.
Good Lord.
What it's supposed to be, yeah. I was way off on that, but okay.
So his blood alcohol level was high AF. Now, while the news frenzy and investigation continues, Eric files for divorce from Erin and files for custody of the kids, which, if he was so horrible, and if you listen to last week's episode, you know what I'm talking about. If he was so horrible and she already had the kids, why wasn't she the one to file for divorce? Why didn't she file for divorce before him?
Yeah,
right.
Point.
That's what I'm wondering. But in the meantime, the boy stayed with Erin, but a child psychologist authorized unsupervised visits with Eric and his sons. So later it came out that Erin, now people strap in. Later it came out that Erin had falsified a resume, went by her maiden name, and gotten another teaching job. That's not the part I'm telling you to strap in for. At that job, ready? She'd started another relationship with another teenager.
What the? There's my cue. No, that means what? Don't believe it.
Yes, she did it again.
I mean,
oops,
she's
she
a serial
student
Dater. Oh,
So
good song
she
though.
got fired
Zero Dater.
from that job when the school got wind of who she was. She then checked herself into a mental facility for a while, but then when she got out, she left Knoxville. Police and everyone said, she was on the run at the time, and an Amber Alert was actually put out on the kids because she went out of state with the kids, but without Eric's consent. But before she went out of state, she first moved to Nashville, but never stayed with family that she had there. Instead, both her side of the family and Eric's side of the family said that she stayed in like seedy motels and stuff, and the rooms that had alcohol bottles like all over the place, and she had her kids around that. One time, strap in people, someone walked in and caught her engaged in an act. Now, the act wasn't mentioned, and this is allegedly, but I said that already. Caught her in an act with another teenager while her two boys were in the room.
I'm sorry to laugh, but she just has a taste and preference for youngins. Dude. For some reason.
Dude.
You would think you learned the first time, but no, you're doing
again
it again.
And again.
No, she was doing it simultaneously. She was doing it at the same time.
I wonder if
school.
she got quit. Stuck. Because remember, right as soon as they graduated, that's when they got married. I wonder if she got stuck in that time frame, feeling like she missed out.
That makes sense, because she was attracted to her husband when they were both that young.
But I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, maybe she was like, I feel like I got married too young, and she's just stuck there. Like, I wish I hadn't have gotten married this young, and I should have had my fun. And so she's just stuck there. Not that that's an excuse, because that's still, like, really.
But that's a syndrome, and that's a good point that you're saying, because that definitely happens.
Yeah.
And then you grow up too fast, because think about it. You quickly start having children. You have all this responsibility, and you've got to have these extra jobs to take care of these kids, and you wanted to just get through school. It just, when it happens too fast, it's just not right. It's best to wait.
For some people, because I do know some people who had children like right out of high school, and they're completely sane and would never do something like this. So this is just some people. But yeah, she definitely did have the kids straight out of high school, got married straight out of high school. And I'm just wondering if she just got stuck in that mindset, because she seems to have this affinity for 18-year-old boys.
I'm surprised they're even 18. She was right on that border each time, like, oh, I like them young. Oh my God. So creepy.
Anyway, so after that happened, that's when she moved out of state and took the kids to Austin, Texas. And of course, when Eric's trial started, Erin never went to any of his trials, because she wasn't even in the state. She was just like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with this. I'm going to move, find me some other, 18-year-olds. Maybe I could find some Texas youngins on a ranch or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So Eric, on the other hand, gave TV interviews about the murder, and he said it was an accident. Now, I personally don't think it was a good look to have interviews during a murder investigation and the trial and everything, but what do you think?
I don't think it was a good look to go to the car with a shotgun and then say it was an accident.
Dude, we're not talking about that. I'm just asking about
I know, but I'm going back to that point.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb, but what do you think about him giving interviews when he's on trial, basically?
No, it's incriminating. You're supposed to just be very quiet, not a peep.
I don't think it's incriminating. I just think it's really stupid.
Well, a lawyer generally tells you that.
No, his lawyer, they actually
right?
spoke with the judge about it, and the judge allowed it to happen. And I think his lawyer's thought process was he had to get his own story out there. Let the public know what his side of the story was. And I don't know. I just think that was the preemptive strike, getting his story out there.
I do think so too. Well, there's just a fine line there that he was treading. So I guess you can go one way or the other with it, because you could say enough and just get the community to really support you. What if one of those people became a juror or something? In the middle of the trial,
usually when that happens,
and they're like, bring someone else in.
When that happens, if the community knows too much about the case, they usually move it somewhere else. So that's why I just don't understand this. Like, they didn't move it anywhere else. Yeah. He was running around giving interviews. So it's just weird to me. Anyways, police finally caught up with Aaron. Now, guess how they did that? You'll never guess. So I'm not even going to wait for you because you'll be here all night.
I know. I agree.
Well, this guy who had been on the run with her, which was a 38-year-old man named Michael Mickey Franks, he'd been on the run with her. He had met her at the institution. Remember when she checked herself into an institution in Tennessee? He met her at that institution, and they got out together, and then he helped her take the boys from their home and, start going around the place. So he went from there to Nashville with her and everything like that. And then after a while, she kicked him out, and then he went and told cops. But anyways, he said that they lived in motels and that they worked odd jobs to be able to make money here and there. And he said that Aaron would wake him up from sleep with the sex that she was having with an 18-year-old while in the same bed with her sons. So basically, I'm going to spell this out to you. Basically, it was
Please
her.
spell it out, because I'm like trying to picture what.
Okay, so yeah. So remember, so you're in a motel room. Sometimes you get rooms with 2 beds, right? So there's 2 beds in the room. In one of the beds, it was her 2 sons, and some 18-year-old dude. And then in the other bed was Mickey. So he would be asleep.
The 38-year-old.
Yeah, so he would be asleep in his bed. And then, let's just say 3 o'clock in the morning, he's awakened by like loud sex noises in the other bed. And he turns around and looks, and it's Erin and some 18-year-old going at it while her 2 children are like at the foot of the bed sleeping.
Ah, that's so cold.
That's creepy is what it is.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Well, the 38-year-old was a little old for her. So I guess he bored her quickly.
I don't. He never said
like,
that he was having sex with her or anything like that. He never.
Okay,
said
so
that.
they were just kind of ride or die together. But let's just get in trouble, try to survive. We had something in common when they were, in
maybe he liked her. Maybe he
know.
liked her, but that just wasn't her type or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, they would be having sex, and that would wake him up, and he would just be skeezed out. So he would literally leave the room. Meanwhile, her sons are sitting there being traumatized. Like, what the frick?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, if it woke him up, I'm pretty sure the children woke up too, but they were just, you don't ever want to hear your parents
what do you
having
say?
sex.
Mom, quiet it down. You can't really say anything. You're a kid. You're just You're almost starting to think this is normal when you're a kid, because you don't know normal anymore.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. Crazy. I'm so happy my mom didn't do that. I know somebody who she was actually adopted out. Her mom would have sex with randos right in front of her. I can't even.
Well, that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. So, like I said, because of Mickey, police found her and removed the kids from her home. So they found her in Austin, Texas, and took the kids or whatever. And guess what? You'll never guess. But try. Guess what? The police came, removed the kids from her home. She was there. And just take a wild guess what else.
Well, she probably didn't stop them. She didn't care. She doesn't care about the kids. I mean, that's what's coming to me. That just like, okay, take them away.
Well, when the police arrived and found her there, found the kids and got the kids and everything like that, they realized, wait a second, there's somebody else here.
Oh, he was still. Wait a minute. What happened to the 18-year-old and the 18-year-old and the 38-year-old?
Well, she kicked the
38-year-old
left. 38-year-old.
She kicked him out.
The 18-year-old, he was
there?
probably still in school or whatever, so he couldn't leave Nashville.
God.
So there was another 18-year-old at the place. And she told police,
I can't keep up with all these kids this woman is collecting along the way.
She told police that
children.
was just her. No. She was like, no. This isn't an 18-year-old. He's a temporary helper who lives with me as an 18-year-old.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow. So, how many 18? So she had Sean.
I guess it's a magic number for her,
1, 2. So far, it's been 4 18-year-olds.
She had Sean, then the random guy.
So that's 4 that I'm counting so far.
Okay.
Wow.
So
they took the kids, and they took the kids to Eric's parents' home in Tennessee. And then they had a custody hearing between her and Eric. And She was arrested for taking the kids out of state without permission, and she was sentenced to 90 days in jail because of doing that. So that's that story. Meanwhile, during the trial, prosecutors Bill Crabtree and Takesha Fitzgerald painted the picture of Aaron committed premeditated murder, while the defense, on the other hand, his attorney Bruce Poston, argued that the murder was accidental. Now, the medical examiner took the stand, the medical examiner for the Knox and Anderson counties, and said that the autopsy found that the gun was fired from close range, and Sean had a graze wound on his hand and a little black residue on it. So, like, he had a wound and black residue in the wound, or like on the wound. So, in their expert opinions, the wound was actually a defensive one, and that Eric's claim of him grabbing the gun, so remember he said that Sean had grabbed the gun and that's why it went off. So they're saying Eric's claim of him grabbing the gun wasn't conducive with the evidence. So it said, yes, Sean's hands were probably close to the gun, but he wasn't touching it. So that, to me, that sounds like an open and shut case. Like, oh, okay, then. Well,
yeah.
So after that, though, Eric ended up taking the stand. So when I don't think they were going to have him take the stand, but after the medical examiner came, Eric ended up taking the stand. And when he took the stand, he told everybody about, his story, what's going on in the relationship from his perspective, how everything was going between him, Aaron, the children, Sean came in, everything like that. He basically told them everything I've told you in this episode. So that was his entire testimony to everybody in the courtroom. Now, he said that after he'd called the police to get Sean to leave, Aaron, started making fun of him and belittling him. And Sean, who was still outside, as we know, joined in. Then Aaron went outside with Sean and sat on a swing that they had outside their house, which is kind of the same thing that Aaron said. But she didn't say they were taunting, but Eric is saying that they were taunting. So she went outside with Sean, sat on the swing, and then they kept taunting him. And then Aaron went to leave with Sean, but Eric pleaded with her to stay. And she said she was going to go get her children, and leave with Sean. And that's when Eric went to get the gun to scare Sean away. So basically he could have him leave his family alone. He was like, don't you see she's taking my kids away from me? Like, don't you have a heart? Don't you care? And he went to get the gun, as he says, to scare Sean to leave his family alone.
So those were his intentions, and then it just went off, because that happens.
This is what he says. So Eric, on the stand, Eric did acknowledge killing Sean. Even though he says it was accidental, he said that there is not one day that goes by where he doesn't regret what happened. He also apologized to both Sean's adopted parents and Sean's mother. Now, before sentencing, people were sending in letters in droves to the judge with the punishment that they thought that, she should give Eric. A lot of people stood with him and they stood against Aaron. Most of the community hated Erin and said she was a bad mother and a bad wife. Mm-hmm. And I mean, in terms of media, this is basically a normal media frenzy with a crazy case like this. So everybody has their opinions, and I guess after they heard his side of the story, and the neighbors are telling what happened, and I think it's primarily that she was with young guys, like 18-year-olds, children and stuff like that. I think that's primarily why the community hated her. I think it was like, if it was she was just cheating on him, but it was like a 35-year-old guy, I don't think they would look at her.
Yeah, you're right, because it brings another level to it when she's just short of a pedophile. Like they're just barely legal. It just makes her look really bad.
And I think that was really the main thing in how the community looked at her.
Right.
So a jury of 6 men and 6 women deliberated nearly 11 hours for 2 days before returning the verdict. Now, they came back with a verdict, and the verdict was not guilty for first-degree murder, not guilty on voluntary manslaughter, guilty of reckless homicide. And Eric was immediately taken away to prison. Like his lawyer was trying to say, well, let's wait for the pre-sentence of the bail hearing or the probation hearing or anything like that, but they took him immediately away to prison. So in a pre-sentence report prepared by Board of Probation and Parole employee Laura Thompson, she argued that Eric was eligible for probation. Quote, "The current offense appears to be his only criminal conviction. He does not appear to have any mental health problems. He denied any excessive use of alcohol and any use of non-prescribed and or illegal drugs. He has a high school diploma and has completed several years of college. He is gainfully employed. He is divorced and has 2 minor children." End quote. So basically, because he had no prior criminal history, the law presumes him eligible for probation. So Eric was sentenced to 4 years in prison and had to serve 47 days in jail and then 12 years of probation. So he spent 42.
That's a long probation.
Well,
Whoa.
listen, there's a
12
reason why.
years?
So he spent 42 days in jail, and then he was able to post bond. And then after that, he spent an additional 47 days in jail. Now, if he violates his probation, he would serve no more than the 4-year sentence. So basically, they gave him the 12 years of probation so that they can keep him under their legal thumb for up to 12 years. So that was the reasoning for the 12-year probation, because it would be either 4 years or they're watching him for 12 years. So they figured it was better for the 12 years. Now,
I get it.
To me, personally, I feel like this 18-year-old kid, Sean, was 100% a victim. He was still a kid, even though at 18 people think you're an adult.
Yeah, he's being exploited.
But he was still a kid, and this adult woman took advantage of him for basically her own selfish purposes. I think, like you said before, Eric shouldn't have brought out the gun. Whether the shooting was accidental or not, he should not have had the gun at all. Like, you could have just taken your kids and just left. Like, just go somewhere, go to your parents' house or whatever. If all of this was happening, you didn't have to bring out a gun. And I'm going to threaten you. Like, come on, man.
But don't you wonder why Sean didn't just leave? Why are you still in the parking lot?
Well,
in front
you
of their
heard
house
the, toxology report. He had cocaine and alcohol, and you know what Rick James said. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. So
yeah, I can imagine. But you can go. But what I'm saying, Ky, is go to another lot across the street and sit there in your car for the night.
Listen,
to me, it's like being taunting, just staying in the car.
You're talking about, first of all,
front of their
a
house.
rebellious kid. Number one, rebellious kid who had a really terrible childhood, and everybody says he was just rebellious. Not that I'm blaming any of this on him. He was a rebellious kid. He had a hard life. I feel bad for him. Number two, he's a teenage boy. Hormones raging through you. Literally, all they want to do is fight. Are you serious? And you think he's going to make the rational decision? The one who should have made the rational decision is the grown man, not the teenage boys.
Yeah.
Teenagers are not well known for rational decisions. And then number three,
it's so true.
He had
I
cocaine and alcohol in his system.
And, it's under the
All
influence.
of this is a recipe for disaster, not rational decision. So
it is.
No, it was Eric who should have made a rational decision, and it was Aaron who shouldn't have been let me not call these people names, but yeah. Both of the adults are at fault here. I don't blame Sean at all. Sean was 100% a victim.
Innocent. I get it. Yeah, I do agree with that. It's a good point. I mean, it's a shame because he's dead. Yeah. So,
unfortunately.
It's just unnecessary. Yeah.
So Eric is currently done with his probation. I think his probation ended a couple years ago. So he's done with his probation. And the McLean boys are grown. And they live in Lenoir City. Erin is currently still living in Texas, and she's a freelance writer.
Okay, wait. How does she not get time? Because she She created all of this chaos. How is that not?
I mean, she got time for taking
I,
the kids away, but I mean, she didn't.
That's it.
She didn't pull a trigger. She didn't tell her husband to murder this guy. There's no reason for her to go to jail other than taking the kids. She didn't do anything. Yeah,
she can't go to jail for just being a really bad person
and they're all 18, so it's not like they're illegal. So there's nothing to put her in jail for, except she took the kids, and they put her in jail for that for a couple days. Other than that, there's nothing to put her in jail for.
So she writes books now. She's a freelance writer.
Freelance writer doesn't necessarily mean you write books, but you know.
Well, that's true. You can do whatever they have out there, you know. I mean, any type of assignment, that is true. It doesn't mean it's books. But I guess I'm wondering if she's going to write about her life at some point in, you know, this story and that sort of thing, because it's definitely...
Well, you know, it's going to be...
It's the thing that books are made of,
It's going to be, you know, that she was just a loving mother and wife, and he was a terrible ogre, and she had to find love somewhere else, and blah, blah, blah. It's going to be one of those... But anyway, that is the story of Eric McLean, Aaron McLean, and Sean Powell. So, what did y'all think of this case? What did y'all think of the outcome? Definitely let us know in the comments below. Or better yet, head on over to our Facebook fan group and let us know there. Let's have a conversation over there. What did you think of the outcome? Did you think that Eric did this on purpose? Do you think he should have served a longer time in prison? What do you think about what's going on with the kids, those poor kids? I hope they got some help. I really hope they took them to a psychologist or something and just like help clear these kids' minds of what was going on. What do you think of what happened with Sean? And which story do you believe? Do you believe Aaron? Do you believe Eric? Do you believe they're both lying, but there's just like truth in the middle? Just let us know in the comments, or come on over to our Facebook fan group. If you just search Google for Love and Murder fan page, you will definitely find our fan group there. I want to know what y'all think. I thought this was a crazy case, which is why I had to do...
Absolutely. I'm really curious what our listeners are thinking, because I had so many questions myself, and there's so much that was going on in my head. And I'm thinking, if I'm thinking this way, I'm pretty sure that, you know, many others that are listening are thinking the same thing, like, what and why and how?
Dude.
You know, it's just...
And how many, like...
It's really frustrating.
How many different 18-year-olds she went through, and... She was able to get another teaching job. Not that I'm blaming the school, because, you know, she did change her name to her maiden name, which isn't illegal. So they did a search on her maiden name. But then it's like, how didn't you come up? Because if you do a background check, it'll say other, you know what? But she probably didn't put other names you use. So she probably didn't even do that. But they did their due diligence when they found out who she was. They did fire her. But she was already in another relationship with another student at the school. Like, come on. You're a freaking teacher.
There should be a law against it. There is a law against it.
But they're 18. She makes sure that they're 18, so it's not like really they could do anything. Now, if it was a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old...
Yes, because she's right at that border. She's sure and aware of her decisions, I'm pretty sure. She's saying, how old are you again? Oh, I'm 17 and I have... when's your birthday? When's your birthday?
Please.
In 2 months?
Yeah,
okay.
right?
Oh, well, I'll wait 8 weeks and then I'm going to hit him up. I'm definitely going to hit him up.
That's so creepy. Oh, my God.
Do you like ice cream?
Ah.
You know? I mean, he's a kid. That's my point, you know? They're kids.
I guess.
Why did your mind go somewhere else?
No, because it's just like you're trying to talk to somebody. You're trying to holler at them, and your first question is, "Hey, do you like ice cream?" Like,
No, here's the thing. The ice cream is the celebration of the cake and the party, because you're asking when's your birthday.
Okay.
Hello.
Because I was like, you're never going to ask a grown-ass man, hey, do you like ice cream? My white van with the puppies and kittens are right out there.
They're barely grown, Ky, because my thoughts are she could be, you know, just eyeing, one of the kids in the school, 2 months before he turns 18, just kind of sizing him up.
And you know, she does have access to their files. So she does know how old they are and when their birthday. Oh, it's just getting worse and worse.
It's just getting weirder and weirder. I agree.
God.
It's just
So anyway, listeners,
you guys, it's these stories are just they'll take you out there.
Let me know
And they
what
really
y'all
did
think.
happen.
And y'all who are teachers, let me know if you, obviously,
Especially the
keep
teachers.
stuff anonymous, or how does Char say it?
Well, I think I finally learned how to say it. It took me about a
Char
couple
did
years.
not know how to say it.
Anonymous.
That's
Okay,
what she
hold
says.
up.
Anonymous.
This is when we need our drum roll because I think I can say it now. Anonymous.
No, she's still saying it wrong, as you can hear.
Anonymous.
Anonymous. So please keep names anonymous, and let us know if you know of any teachers who kind of fit the bill in terms of they look sideways at the students.
And don't give their names.
And
you just said that.
and what do you do in that instance? Do you alert the principal? Do you alert the school board, or do you just keep like an eye on them to make sure they're actually not doing anything with the students? Because I'm telling you right now, I'm telling somebody. And if nobody's going to listen to me, I'm calling the news station. Somebody's going to listen.
Somebody's going to listen at that point.
Somebody's going to listen, because no, I'm not letting a child's life get screwed up like that. But anyways, if you like this episode, as always, head on over to Apple Podcasts or go to Spotify. And in Apple Podcasts, you hit the purple button and give us 5 stars. And in Spotify, after you listen to the episode, you hit rate. I think it's rate there. I think you hit rate episode. This is something new, so I'm not 100% what happens in Spotify, but I know you have to listen to the episode in Spotify first, and then they give you an option to rate. Either way, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or a new platform that I'm on is Good Pods. Head on over that, rate us 5 stars. You can say whatever you want in the description, but help us get up in those charts, please. We'll be forever grateful for you. Don't forget to visit us on Patreon and become an LNM exclusive subscriber for crazy bonus episodes, commercial-free episodes of Love and Murder, behind the scenes, and so much more. It is only $3 a month to join us over there. Follow us on social media at facebook.com/relationship crime, Instagram at Love Murder Podcast, our Facebook fan group. Just search Love and Murder fan page. You could search that in Google, or you could search that in Facebook, and join us on over there. In the last episode, there was this movie that I was thinking about. I couldn't remember what it is. I remembered, and it's up in our Facebook fan page. So if you want to see what movie I was talking about, go to our Facebook fan page. You'll see the movie. You'll see the interview. I actually posted the video of the actual interview with this child, and it's so chilling to watch. It is so chilling to watch. So head on over there. If you love merch, you can get our merch, Love and Murder merch. Just go to our website, www.murderandlove.com, and go to our store in the menu, and you'll find merch, which we have glasses, water bottles, phone covers, good Lord, pillows. Throw pillows are my favorite.
And as I say, stretch pants. What's the other word for it?
Oh, good Lord. Leggings. Don't listen to that boomer over
leggings.
there. Ah, good Lord. Leggings.
But I love those. Everyone wears those. That's so fun.
Hoodies, sweatshirts, T-shirts. We have it all. My favorite are the stickers, the glasses, and the throw pillows. Those are my favorites. But look in our store, see what you like, get what you like. Support Love and Murder, man. Well, don't support Love and Murder, literally. Support the podcast.
Don't do that. Not in the literal sense. But definitely support us.
And you can definitely also support us for free by simply sharing this episode. So the episode that you're listening to now, there's a button that says share. Click that button. You can click it while I'm talking. Click that button and share with your best friend, your mom, your brother, your sister. If you have 5 cousins, share with them. You can even share it with your cat, your dog. Share.
No, share with your 5 big butt cousins. Especially.
Yeah. The big butt ones. Share it with them. But the flat butt ones need love too, so share it with them. Look, yeah. I'm not making fun of flat butts. I don't have a flat butt, but it's nowhere near as big as Char's. So we flat butt people got to stick together. Share with the flat butt. Share with the big booty. Share with the big titties. Share with them all.
The little tiny ones. Don't discriminate, just share.
I used to be a member of the itty bitty titty committee, and then I had a kid, and mine just bloof.
That's just the lucky part of hormones having a baby, yeah.
And they never went down, so they're just there. But anyways, yeah, share with everyone. Share the love. Share the love. Ky can't sing, but share the love.
It sounds like a Broadway musical. Where am I? Where am I right now?
It's
I'm having
time
this
for
weird
us to
flashback.
go. This Tylenol is making me loopy. So anyways, I want to remind everyone, thank you first of all for joining us. And as always, it's
All
all
love
love
and
and
no
no murder,
murder.
y'all.
Have a
Good
great
night.
week and be safe, everyone.